U.S. House Reps Brittany Peterson and Anna Paulina Luna pushed for proxy voting for new mothers in Congress. They didn't quite get what they wanted, and I don't think they should have gotten anything. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the quote-unquote bipartisan effort to allow new mothers in Congress to vote remotely rather than being on the floor in person casting their vote. Now, they didn't get quite what they wanted. They wanted straight up remote voting, being at the house, in the bed, on the computer, on their phone, pushing the button. They wanted that, but they didn't quite get it. What they got was a thing called vote pairing, and vote pairing ultimately is not going to allow them to vote on important things, meaning they can vote present, but they can't vote in the affirmative. And the affirmative vote is what you're going to need to pass things through. Now, before I get into it, I just want to say this was a ridiculous thing from the very beginning. People in Congress only work about 15% of the available work days in the year, and they make plenty of money to be able to afford nannies, and they get taxpayer-funded childcare right there on Capitol Hill. This was ridiculous. It's lazy. It's absurd. And the vote pairing, vote by proxy, shouldn't have even been a thought to bring forward. Now, there's a lot I want to get into, but first things first, how much do these people make? That's very important because I know people making $50,000 that have to pay for childcare in order to go to work in person to be able to take care of themselves. Okay. So look, U.S. House Reps make a base salary of $174,000 a year. Okay. That's base salary. And you see right here, it says the median individual wages in the country are $59,000. Okay. Now, if you are Speaker of the House like Mike Johnson, you get $223,500. And if you are a House majority and minority leader, you get $193,400. Okay, that's what you get. That is quite a bit of money in this good old US of A. And we know that's just the base salary. That's not going to be the extent of what they make necessarily, because let's go to Nancy Pelosi. How much is she worth? Okay, she's member of the House. The most she ever made as a House rep was $223,500 as Speaker of the House. But her salary right now is $174,000. But she's worth, you see that right there? She is worth $230 million. Don't tell me anything about you need to work from home when you only work 15% of the available work days in Congress, and you can be worth that much money. Please don't tell me nothing. Even if you're not Nancy Pelosi, even if you have no investments, no side deals, no speaking engagements, no book deals, no podcast appearances, nothing like that, you still making $174,000 and you get free taxpayer funded childcare. Don't tell me anything about not being able to show up and vote. Please don't do it. I don't even know why this would be a thing. This is really crazy to me. Now, this is one of the people that was involved, okay? You can see the headline here. House votes to block bipartisan push for proxy voting by new parents. And it says GOP rep, yes, GOP Republican, Anna Paulina Luna struck a deal with Speaker Mike Johnson after an inter-party spat brought the House floor to a halt last week. Now, I want to read a little bit of this to see if I can just explain this vote pairing thing a little bit more to make it make a little bit more sense. So look, so the deal says if you just had a baby or you're bereavement, somebody died, or other emergencies, who knows what that could be. Hey, my dog then got in my trash and got sick, so I'm not going to be able to go on a House floor. I'm going to work from home. Ridiculous. But look, the key here is that you are not able to vote and have it actually count in the affirmative. Let me just read some of this. It says this would essentially allow a member who is absent to pair their vote with someone who plans to vote on the other side of the issue. That person would vote present, and the congressional record will reflect the position of each member. So this means the record will show what you wanted to do, but you're not going to actually be able to cast your vote that way. All you could do is vote present, but you can't vote yay or nay. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of a compromise a little bit. You're able to show that, hey, this is what I would have done if I was there, but that vote won't actually count. So when it comes time for things that actually matter, they got to show up and vote in person. And here's my question. If the vote doesn't matter, then why are they voting on it at all? If the vote doesn't matter, then why vote on it at all? I don't understand. I guess, well, to show what you would have done. Hey, this is my position. This is how I feel. Hey, constituents, I believe in what we're trying to fight for. I believe in what you voted me to go to DC to do. But since my dog then got sick, since my grandmama died, I'm not going to be able to go to work. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Now, let's go to this here. All right, you see this here. Johnson reaches agreement to kill proxy voting proposal in the House, New York Times. I'll link to all these articles and whatnot in the box, but let's go to Brittany Peterson. This is a Democrat from Colorado, and you may have seen her a little bit on the news because she's been using that baby as a prop. Yes, she is, because again, they have free taxpayer-funded childcare right there on Capitol Hill. Okay, so if you must bring your baby to the Hill, you got childcare right there, right down the hall. Why you got to bring the baby into the actual House floor? Is because you're using the baby as a prop. You're using the baby for optics. Let's watch this. And again, everything, the articles, videos will be in the box. If you want to see it and hear it without my commentary, if you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
And Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong opposition to this rule, which restricts moms and dads from doing their jobs after welcoming a new child. Like so many of our colleagues, it's one
moms and dads. So the dad got to go on paternity leave too? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Listen, I done been to work sick, halfway dead, making $8 an hour. You make $174,000 base level. Oh, I have to stay home because, man, please cut it out. Cut it out.
One of my greatest honors to be a mom. I have two little boys, a son named Davis, who's 5, and my little guy here, Sam, who's now 9 weeks old. It's also one of my greatest honors to have been elected by my constituents to represent them in Congress. And I can tell you, after being a mom here and being only the 13th member to have ever given birth while serving in Congress, voting member, I can tell you we have a long ways to go to make this place accessible for young families like mine. When I was pregnant, I couldn't fly towards the end of my due date because it was unsafe for Sam, and you're unable to board a plane. And I was unable to actually have my vote represented here and my constituents represented.
But look, if you can't do your job, then go ahead and quit, do something else. It is what it is. You got to pick. Okay, you want to have a family, you want to do that. Well, maybe you shouldn't have a job that requires you to travel. Just maybe. Hey, all right. If you're a woman and you are, I don't know, an oil rig worker for some odd reason, you're a bulldagger that wanted to work on the oil rig, and all of a sudden, oops, bulldagger got pregnant. Well, maybe you might want to go work at a bakery or something like that. Oh, well, I don't make as much money. That's a decision to make. Life is not fair. Life is full of choices you got to make. And you made your choice. Don't try to put the guilt trip on us like that's somehow our responsibility to make up for. It's not. It's your choice. It's your responsibility.
After giving birth, I was faced with an impossible decision. Sam was 4 weeks old. And for all of the parents here, we know that when we have newborns, it's when they're the most vulnerable in their life. It's when they need 24/7 care, when taking them even to a grocery store is scary because you're worried about exposure to germs and them getting sick, let alone taking them to an airport, on a plane, and coming across the country to make sure that you're able to vote and represent your constituents.
Hold on, before she continues, shout out to all the moms out there. I want to hear from the moms, from the women who have had children. What do you think about what she's saying so far?
I was terrified that no matter what choice I made, that I would have deep regrets for the consequences. So Sam and I made the trip out, and this is our third time now coming to the floor for this vote. I want to thank all the people who have stood by us. I want to thank Representative Luna for being such a champion on this issue.
But I want you to hear a little bit from Anna Paulina Luna. Again, this is a Republican.
Congresswoman Luna, do you mind stopping at the poll camera? Sure. Just wanted to ask you how you reached this agreement with Speaker Johnson on proxy voting and whether you're happy with the resolution.
So it's basically live and dead pairing. So it's been done since the 105th Congress. We're simply bringing it back and formalizing it. Reached the agreement by picking up the phone and calling him. So
there was a little bit of criticism from Pedersen and Jacobs about how this resolution really doesn't go far enough, and you should have really stuck to your guns on the proxy voting push. Can you respond to that criticism?
I think that there's been a national botched job on the messaging for this. So this is not for maternity leave. It's simply asking that members that are recovering from childbirth, which by the way has not been a huge number, we're talking about 13 in U.S. history, can continue to vote while they're in that recovery phase. And so that's first and foremost the correction.
Now, here's something else. Like what she's saying, so it's not just for moms who have had children, it's for moms who have had complications from childbirth, but it's also for those who are in bereavement and for other emergencies, whatever that means.
Secondly, I still think that that should be obviously an exception that is made. President Trump even backs that position. And I think a lot of people were, thinking that it's going to, break the dam and it's going to be a slippery slope, but that's completely false. And as you saw in the Rules Committee, they actually agreed that proxy voting is not unconstitutional. So that whole argument in itself, I understand people's concerns. However, we're talking about a very, very small number, and we're also talking about the slimmest majority in U.S. history. So this does impact Republicans. What I will tell you is obviously it's not what we initially had wanted, but it's a step forward in the right direction.
All right, so that again is GOP House Rep Anna Paulina Luna, and the other young lady that was, what was her name? I think Brittany Peterson. Let me see if I'm saying the right thing. Her name, yes, Brittany Peterson, a Democrat from Colorado, Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican from Florida. Now, as I close, I want to say this. No proxy voting. You make enough money. We're paying you. You got all of what you need right there. You have taxpayer funded childcare right there on Capitol Hill. Making $174,000 base pay. Like I don't really want to hear the excuse. Okay, if you can't make it, if you can't go to DC, you can't fly there. Well, maybe do something else. Maybe step down and then try to get reelected once you're not having obstacles in the way that prevent you from doing your job. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your stance on proxy voting? Is it a good thing, bad thing? You don't really care? Somewhere in between? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Show up to work in person. Show up. Like you work 15% of the days of the year. Aside from that, y'all going on podcasts. Y'all investing in meme coins. Y'all doing insider trading. Y'all doing all of that. The least you could do is for a little bit of your actual day, a little bit of your life, show up to do the job that we, the people, elected you to do. Am I saying too much? Is that too much to ask? I hope not. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.